Hello students. So in our chapter natural resources we have studied that how soil is formed from the used rocks of mineral, how this process took thousands of years and which are the factors which took part in this process like sun, water, air and living organisms. So today we will study further about soil, component of soils and how the soil pollution occurs or what are the reasons behind the pollution of soil. So first of all, there is an activity given in your textbook, activity 14.10. What you have to do, you take a beaker, pour some water in it, and then add some soil. You have to add some soil in this beaker containing water, but the water have to be 5 times greater than the soil. Now if you put a mixture of soil or any kind of soil from your surrounding in this water, you will notice that the soil in the water will gain different levels. The rock present in soil or very high dense part of soil will settle down at the bottom. The small particles of soil which are not that much heavy will be settled down above these rocks, and some particles of soil, you know that it will swim on this surface of water. So here you will see that there are different levels of soil, or soil is a mixture. It is a mixture of different components of different sizes. It may contain large size rocks, small size particles and many humus, you call it, which will swim on this surface of water. So by this activity it is proven that soil is a mixture. Soil is a mixture of different types of particles, or you can say different sand particles. So we will study about this mixture. What does this mixture contains? So it contains decaying material. Decaying material means living organisms which are dead by now, or any parts of plants, any leaf, any kind of branches which are dead now, fallen on the ground, and they are now decaying by some of the microorganisms. We know that every living organism is biodegradable, so all this kind of waste which is decaying material, it also kind of a mixture, or it also a part of soil, mixture of our soil. So this decaying material which will swim on this upper surface of the water is called as humus. It is called as humus. What will be the other part in it? It will be living microorganisms. If you take some soil from near any wetland or any water body, you will see that there are many small microorganisms, living microorganisms present in soil. So another part of the mixture of soil is this living microorganisms. So if you want to know the type of soil, which type of soil you are talking about, if you want to know that which type of soil is this, it can be done with the help of size of particles present in it. Here we see that there there are many large size particles, many small size particles. So according to the size of particles present in our soil, we can determine its type, only its type. But if you want to determine its quality, and the soil which you are taking, the quality of this soil is good or bad, it can be determined by the presence of humus, which we talked about, that it is decaying material. This humus will determine the quality of soil. If soil is good, if soil is very nutritive, if soil is fertilized soil, it can be determined by presence of humus and living organisms. Why? Because they contain nutrients, or you can say these living organisms, they fix minerals. If you talk about any nitrogen fixing bacteria, or earthworm, we know that we call earthworm what? Farmer's friend. Why? Because earthworm plays a very important part in creating this humus. It will digest the decaying material and excrete it, creating it the humus. So these living organisms like earthworm, nitrogen fixing bacteria, these are the bacteria which fixes the atmospheric nitrogen into soil, which can be then absorbed by the plants as their nutrients or minerals. So these kind of things determine the quality of soil, that how rich the soil is in minerals, or how many minerals are present in it, how fertilized our soil is. So this can be determined by presence of humus. So this is the type of and quality of soil on which you can determine that which kind of soil is this which you are talking about. So we have seen that this topmost layer of soil, this is the topmost layer. If you consider that this is the soil, so on this bottom line it will be hard particles or heavy large particles. On above that it will be small size particles, and on this topmost layer will present humus and living organisms. This topmost layer of this soil will contain humus and living organism. That's why it is called as topsoil. This uppermost layer of the soil is called as topsoil. So this quality of topsoil will determine that which kind of plants will thrive on there. How the topsoil of any area will determine that which kind of plants will thrive on that. If this topsoil contains many kind of living organisms and a large amount of humus, it will thrive a very good quantity of plants. And also, if you talk about our modern farming, what is modern farming? Farming we used to do in our these times. Modern farming, it includes the use of fertilizers and pesticides. We have talked about this before. Pesticides, which are chemicals used to kill the insects and other pests which are harmful for our crop. And fertilizer, it is also a kind of chemical which increases the mineral and nutrients present in our soil. So these both chemicals are harmful for our topsoil, which contains humus and living organism. Living organism mainly earthworm and bacteria we are talking about. So the pesticides and fertilizers which we use to increase our soil fertility eventually decreases soil fertility because it kills living organisms which are very important for creating humus and as well as fixing many type of minerals and gases in our soil. So this increasing use of fertilizers and pesticides are responsible for soil pollution. As we talked about water pollution, soil pollution is also same, that it is addition of these undesirable substances which are fertilizers and pesticides. So addition of undesirable substances like fertilizers, pesticides that decreases soil fertility on very large time. If you say that it will decreases the soil fertility in 5 to 10 years. So this is called as soil pollution. And another term for which soil is also affected is soil erosion. We will talk about this soil erosion by understanding a activity given in your textbook. Let us see that you now understood what is soil pollution. The topsoil which is affected by fertilizers, pesticide or any kind of chemicals we use for our better farming eventually harmful for topsoil because it kills living organism and also affects the humus production. So this is soil pollution. Now we will talk about soil erosion. So activity 14.11 given in your textbook, it is about soil erosion. Let's see this from this activity. You have to take 2 trays. This is 2 trays. You have to put soil on this surface of trays. Here soil will present. Here also put some soil on this trays and put them on this tilt position. So it will create a slope. Now what you have to do, you have to grow some plants like mustard or green pea on one tray and keep one tray with just soil. You have to grow mustard or green pea on one tray containing soil. So here what will happen? These plants will have some roots which will penetrate in this soil. Now you pour some water on both of the trays. Same amount of water on both the trays and observe the amount of water coming out of these trays and also amount of soil which is coming out in both the trays. So you will observe that the amount of soil which is coming out of this tray with the flowing water, this is flowing water, the amount of soil getting away from the tray with the flowing water will be more in this tray which is not having any kind of mustard and pea or you can say any kind of plants, but the amount of soil which is getting away with the water in tray containing our plants will be very low, and here the amount of soil getting away is high. So by this activity what you have understood that the soil which is going away with the water is increasing if it is not having any kind of trees. So by this you can say that if on any, if you talk about any mountain, on mountain you know that soil will present on both these layers. Now assume that it is monsoon and rain is going on. So here what will happen? The soil will be going away with the water flowing from this mountain. So here you can understand that the top soil which we are talking about, which contains humus and living organism and very small particles of sand which are important for any plants to grow, it is getting away with the water running, any kind of rivers, floods sometimes, or during general monsoon, the soil, top soil is getting washed away. The soil is getting washed away. Why? Because the roots are not present there. If this soil will contains, if this mountain is having very big trees, so you will observe that the soil will not get washed away, or very small amount of soil will be getting washed away. Why? Because these roots present of these big trees will hold this soil. So if any area which is having very large amount of forest, it will gain this topsoil, or it will conserve the soil present in it. But if any area which is not having large amount of trees or very large population of trees, the topsoil will get washed away there. So this washing away of topsoil is called as soil erosion. So now you have seen that if this deforestation means removal of forest, like what happened about 2 to 3 months ago in our Amazon forest in South America. It is called as deforestation, removal of forest, cutting down forest, cutting down trees for our ecological or any kind of land use. It is also affecting the soil erosion. So in about 100 years or 50 years, if this deforestation will be going on the same rate as it is going on now, the soil erosion will increase that much that only rocks will be available for our use. The top soil, which we have talked about, the layers of soil, this is top soil, then the small particles, then again rocks, which we have converted these rocks into soil, which took thousands of years on this planet. It will be washed away, and again these rocks will be present, on which very small amount of trees can be grown, and not any kind of crop will be grown on these rocks. So you can imagine how scarier the situation will be if this topsoil is not there. So this is soil erosion. So we have talked about soil for now. The topic of mineral riches in soil is over. I hope you understood it very well. So our next topic is geochemical cycles. So here there are 3 words. First is bio, which means living, or you can say biotic factors. Living factors or biotic factors, which includes plants, animals and microorganisms. These all are living factors or biotic factors, which means bio. Another word is geo. Geo means geographical, which you study in social science subject. So this geo includes soil, which we talked about, or you can say land, water and air. These three factors are of geographical factors. And chemical, which includes gases like nitrogen, carbon dioxide, oxygen. These all are chemicals, or you can say it is gaseous in nature. So these three have something in common, or you can say they all interreact or interactions. You can say these all are interacted with each other in our environment or in our atmosphere. So these cycles, there are some cycles which contains all these three different factors. So these cycles are known as biogeochemical cycles. As if you want to understand, you know that water, or consider air, which contains oxygen. So this oxygen present in air is also respired by plants and animals. This oxygen is used by most of animals as their respiratory gas, and it again goes back into air. So you know that this is a kind of cycle. As well as carbon dioxide is used by plants for their photosynthesis to make glucose. Again, animals, they expire CO2, we breathe out carbon dioxide, it goes back into air. If you talk about water, we consume water, plants and animals both consume water. This get back to these oceans, seas. So this whole cycle is going through millions of years in our environments. We will study about 3 or 4 cycles. First is water cycle, second one is nitrogen cycle, third one is CO2 cycle or carbon dioxide cycle, and last one is oxygen cycle. So we will study about these 4 cycles in our next lecture. Thank you, students.